Hello. I'm so happy. Hello and welcome to PassionSpeak,
Yes.
where we give those with a passion a platform to speak. Our goal is to enlighten and inspire. My name is Sandra Jennings, and thank you for watching. We broadcast every Thursday at 7:05 p.m. Eastern. If you've seen us before, thank you. If this is your first time watching, come back and be inspired by the stories of those who are passionate. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And by all means, please jump in the comments and holler at us because we'll be sure to shout you out. So, as a teen mother, my next Passion Speak guest has made her share of missteps in her journey, but she is authentic and transparent about her past, and she is not afraid to talk about it. She uses her story to empower others. Please help me welcome three-time author Chanelle Laurice. Hi, Chanelle.
Yay! Hey, everybody.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Happy to
I
be
get
here.
so inspired by your story. I don't want to take over take over
I'm thankful.
your time. I get so inspired by your story. I don't let me just stop.
Okay.
So Chanelle, tell us tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm telling you, sometimes I just get moved to tears because I
Well,
need what you were anyway. Tell us about yourself.
gotcha. Well, one, I'm thankful for that response. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on again. So this is this is an exciting time for me. But I am a mother, I am an author. I really do seek to serve young women and women by way of sharing my life experiences. And the hope is that change will be made on the other end. So no matter how ugly it may be, no matter how, oh my gosh, I can't believe she did that, or I can't believe she said that because she did that, I'm hoping that women will walk away not only brave enough to embrace their story, but inspired to show up authentically, and even more courageous. So with me, being a mom, an author, inspiring women, I am authentically Chanelle. That's who I am. I am authentically Chanelle, and either you take it or you leave it.
And
There's
you
no.
are redefined at this point.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I am.
So you have three books that you have authored. They're on Amazon,
Mhm.
and you are working on your fourth book. I have a feeling if it's not entitled Redefined, that it might be
It
something
is.
close to it.
It is.
It is
That's
okay.
the name of the book. Yes. Yes. That's
And
so
basically, you're redefining the narrative that society is giving your life. And
exactly.
well, tell us what you're passionate about.
I am passionate. Well, I think I'm most passionate about living authentically. I am very passionate about living courageously. I am passionate about owning my story. And inspiring women to do the same. I think when a woman, man or woman, but more so because my platform is primarily young women and women, I think when a woman can own all of who she is, she shows up differently in every aspect of life. There's no shame when you own your story. People can't talk about you good when you own your story, because for those like me, and I know there are plenty of Chanelles in the world, who have taken their life by the horns. And again, no matter how ugly, indifferent, or, no matter how ugly, I have learned how to just embrace all of the details and, like I said, serve them. And being able to do that, I'm thankful that women who I sometimes don't even realize are watching, I only know they're watching when they DM me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you looked at that live or you seen that post or whatever it may be.
Mhm.
So the way in which I choose to show up is what I'm most passionate about. I want for women to own all of who they are, to embrace every single detail of their life, so that they can live peacefully, productively, because it's something about a woman who just embraces all of who she is. There's no time for shame. There's no time for explaining. There's no time for cowering and being intimidated by others who may have made other decisions. You work with what you have and you can make the best of it. And I'm passionate about making the best of my life, considering the choices that I have made in the past.
Awesome. I really admire that because so many times you go live quite a bit, and so many times I'll slip by you and I'll catch you in a comment and think to myself, that is so me.
Hmm.
That was me, and
Wow.
I'm over 60, and that was me, like, 10 years ago. No, I
Wow.
mean, like, I didn't have to be
Right.
your age, 20
Right.
years younger, and
Right.
saying, I repeated mistakes because I needed to learn them lessons.
Yeah.
I want to show this clip so everyone can get an idea or a glimpse of what your lives look like. And this was a live, and it's a very short clip. It's like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Um, and this is your page. We're going to talk about the advertisement that's here briefly later, but I identified a video that I want to share. I hope
Hey
this is not too loud.
sis, I wanted to come and share with many of my single sisters on why I made the choice to stop being accessible to some of these men while being single and sexy. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I was receiving sporadic text messages or sporadic phone calls or sporadic DMs when they wanted to link. Not requests to take me to the museum or to brunch or to go grab a cocktail or to go listen to some live music or to go sit in the park and have a picnic. It was when they wanted to link. And it occurred to me that they would send these sporadic requests or make these requests sporadically, and I didn't feel comfortable enough making a request. Can you cash at me? Can you put some gas in my tank? Can you put some food in my refrigerator? Or can we go to brunch? Can we go listen to some live music? Or, can we go grab a cocktail at one of my favorite lounges? No, I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I didn't really know them like that. And then it occurred to me, because I had asked myself this question: if you don't really know them like that, to ask for what it is that you want when you want it, how do you feel comfortable enough taking off all your clothes, laying down and sleeping with someone that you don't feel comfortable with asking, well, can you pay this bill? Or let's go grab a bite to eat. See, we gotta learn how to date smarter. Now that I'm in my late 40s, I have a little bit of experience under my belt. I'm learning some things. Stop letting these men use you. Stop letting people text or call you sporadically making a request for leave. I blocked a whole bunch of numbers, honey, and my phone be real dry by choice because you're not gonna use me. And because when you do that, when you text or call me sporadically, you're implying that I'm only good for that one thing. But I can't text or call you when I need a bill paid, or when I want to grab a bite to eat, or when I want to go shopping. So, ladies, I'm hoping that you will learn to date smarter and that you'll stop allowing people to use you for uh, the good things, the very thing that they call you for. And, we don't want them implying that we're hoish, and we don't want to come off as being hoes. But if you imply that I'm a hoe by only texting or calling me when you want that one thing, we should be good if I only call or text you when I need a few things.
Uh-oh.
That's it. I meant every word.
Uh-oh. There are some people like me. I'm borderline
Good morning,
empath.
babies. Grab your cup of
Uh-oh,
coffee.
wait a
Join real
minute.
quick to talk about something that baby mama and
Okay. I had a background noise coming in. Um, there are women like me who get used. We attract narcissists because we got a sweet spirit.
Hmm.
We always want to help. Can I help with this?
Hmm.
Oh, I can, yeah, I understand that. I
Right.
I know some resources. I know some people.
Right. Right.
And Um, it tell me, why is that a bad thing?
I this is what I've had to resolve while dating, because it's just a different time. But I realized that one can't use me. They may try, and I've had to learn to stop owning it as if I was doing something wrong. If if you're showing up authentic and you love to help, if you're showing up authentic and you care about people, you're sweet by nature, there's nothing wrong with that. I think where we go wrong is we don't observe long enough. I think that's where we go wrong. I think we don't put enough time on people, because people always show us who they are. You can only pretend for so long. And I've resolved that. I understand if someone shows up only wanting money, there's nothing wrong with them showing up and only wanting money. I think it's wrong when we don't realize he only wants money from you, or he only wants sex from you, or he wants a place to stay, or he's looking for someone to nurture or to help fix, whatever the reason may be. I think it's wrong when we are unable to identify how people are showing up in our life, and when we don't confront it in a timely manner, because some things we just let drag out. I think that's where we go wrong. I don't think we're ever wrong because I'm a loving person. I care about people. I want to see people at their best. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's when you either move, and I don't move fast at this point in time in my life because I'm not in a hurry for anything. But I think it's, us not putting enough time on people, and then we're upset. Well, he was a user. Well, and when did you determine that? After your ninth loan? After you paid his car note? Like, when did you determine that he was a user?
Right.
After you've given much? So that's my. I hope that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Okay.
It makes
Okay.
perfect sense.
Okay. That's just my perspective.
You and I have talked about red flags before,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to bring it up during this conversation
Mm-hmm.
because I just think we struggle, and I've talked with other people about this. We struggle with boundaries.
Yeah.
What's your take on red flags? And when do we bounce? Like, when do we give up on the? Sometimes the women hang in too long.
Way too long. That's a great question. I think that when it comes to red flags, I had to learn the hard way. Like many of us, we learned the hard way. I learned the hard way to believe the red flag the first time it shows itself. I don't need to see 10 red flags. You believe the first one. I've also learned, because of red flags, I've had to understand the importance of trusting myself when it comes to them. um, relationships with people will teach you a number of things if you're paying attention. um, and when you're dealing with the wrong person, or not a good fit for your life, or a toxic individual, um, unhealthy individuals, they always show themselves. And I think that only when you need to lead. Well, you know what? I take that back, because not all of us know. I'll put it to you this way. I was in a relationship, and I knew years before the relationship finally ended that I needed to end the relationship. But because of my emotions and because of my love for that individual, I didn't leave when my gut instinct was telling me to leave. Had I trusted myself, I would have left that relationship not experiencing some of the things that I experienced later on down the line. Ladies, to those of you who are watching, it is imperative that we learn to trust ourselves. Red flags are real. You can't love red flags away. You can't you can try and make excuses if you want to, but it's only delaying the inevitable. I wish I wish I had trusted myself years ago enough to understand that you can love someone and still walk away. You can love someone and still be aware that you are not for me. And before matters become worse, or I end up going to jail, or you end up going to jail, because you're unhealthy and because I see all these red flags, we need to be adults and put an end to things. But some women allow their emotions to keep them entangled in situations where red flags are waving all around, and unfortunately some end up losing their life. Not that it's always that extreme, but if you're not watching the news, if you're not on social media, maybe you don't see the uprise in a lot of these domestic violence cases. A lot of women are losing their lives, young and old. They are losing their lives. They're losing their babies. This stuff is red flags are real. Believe the red flags. Uh, and again, had I some things I could have avoided, but because I experienced what I have, I bet I won't again because I believe red flags. The
All
first
right.
one.
So you have four daughters, is
I
it?
have 3 daughters and 2 sons.
Three daughters. Okay. So
Mhm.
I want to know what your daughters think about your opinion.
My daughters, I would like to think they value my opinion. Um, it's
Well,
not
let me interrupt and say, you because you don't know what they're thinking, only if they've communicated that to you. But
correct.
what is your impression of how they take your opinion and your life lessons? Have they been able to apply it to their own lives?
Um, I believe so because our experiences, some here and there may be similar, but not many. My daughters have been able to avoid some of the hardships that I've experienced, some of the heartache that I've experienced by um, dealing with the wrong type of man in my past. So I can tell that when it comes to like dating, there's a certain type of man, certain things they're not going to tolerate because of what I've experienced, because of our conversations. I'm thankful that my children, I love my grandchildren, but like for myself, prior to when I was married, I had 4 children, outside of marriage and by different men. And my children, because of my experiences, I can see, yeah, we're going to do our best to avoid that. We don't want the same story as mama. So when it comes to my advice, I think it's not so much as my advice, it has been my life. It's been what I've lived out, how I've handled things. Um, and my children are big on that. It's not what a person says, it's what they do. That includes mama as well. So they watch me. And I do know, not only when it comes just to bad situations, or should I say situations that are disheartening, but also the good. They know how important it is for me to forgive, how important it is when it comes to love. So um, it's not always about the ugly stuff, but even with the good, being a person of integrity, um, understanding good character. We're all flawed. We get some
Mhm.
things wrong, but overall, I do know that they have taken a lot of what I've taught by way of what I've exemplified. Because not everything has been bad. Some things have been good. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
Can you share um a story, perhaps one of your most traumatic relationship experiences that you maybe even used to communicate with your daughters?
Yeah, I think one of the most traumatic was loving someone who was abusive. Yeah, I've experienced things as a young adult, but you would think that as we get older, that people. There's a saying, when you know better, you do better. Ladies, or to whomever is watching, that's not all the time true. Sometimes we can know better and still not do better. Um, And so one of the most traumatic was when someone I loved immensely beat me. He beat me in a hotel room, and all because I confronted him about him. I was in the hotel room waiting on him to arrive, and he was he was hanging out with another woman in a city that he invited me to, and I just couldn't believe I experienced what I did, loving the person the way that I did. But it made me wake up. It made me understand how important it is for us as women to stop using love as an excuse. We will excuse behaviors. We excuse red flags. We will excuse why we haven't left. I should have been left the relationship, but my emotions and all of that. And again, now I understand. Now I can do better and choose more wisely. But I realize that love does not trump reality, and love can no longer trump logic. There are some people that we love that we have no business being with. I clearly understand this because of that behind beating that I took in a hotel room, loving someone who was not good for me and who continuously demonstrate red flags was waving all around.
How soon? I don't want to steal from your book, but how soon in the relationship? Like I recall, let me just put it in perspective. I recall 3 months before I made a commitment in a relationship, the red flags started showing up and the abuse started showing up, and I just dismissed it. Like, why?
Yeah.
Do you think our desperation, female desperation, desperate for a relationship, desperate for a husband,
Yeah.
desperate to have a father for our children, or
Yeah.
to have a man who will father our children, where does that play in the full dynamics?
Well, I think it plays a huge part because when you're see, sometimes we want something so bad, we are willing to ignore it's not that bad. Well, he only hit me one time or he pushed me. It's not that bad. And so I think desperation, that's a huge no-no. Like we just, what are you desperate for? Anytime a woman is desperate, you must ask yourself, why, where does that stem from? Like you got to get to the bottom of that. I know for myself, I do recall a time when I knew I needed to leave the relationship, and it hurt me to even think to leave. Like it hurt to even think about leaving this person. But I also had later on down the line, what I didn't realize was it was hurting to hold on. It was hurting me even worse to hold on. So I think that if a woman wants something and she's determined to make it work for whatever reason, unfortunately, you have to deal with those consequences behind that. Not all the time is it abuse. I know in my situation it was physical abuse. It was a lot of narcissistic behaviors, which causes torment and you doubting yourself. Like, did I see what I seen? Did I hear what I heard? You did. You seen it. You experienced it. That's what he did. But they try to convince you that's not what it was. Yes, it was. So I think desperation. I think if you're trying to prove something to somebody, because many times women will hold on to a man trying to prove to another woman, he loves me. Girl, listen, sometimes you got to let him go ahead and be with her. I promise life can be so much more peaceful when we just when we take our hands off of what we're trying to hold on to. I was trying to control an outcome that was inevitable because I was trying to hold on what wasn't for me. Anytime you're trying to hold on to something or someone that's not for you, you're only delaying the inevitable. And so, again, hindsight is 2020, and now I get that. And so I'm hoping that if a woman is desperate, honey, I pray you get down to the bottom of where that desperation is coming from. Do you feel like you're not enough? Like that stems from insecurities. Because I'm at a place now where I'm not desperate for anything. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'm okay with that. And so I'm not trying to force anything to happen. I'm not trying to make anything happen. But I think desperation, trying to prove a point, amongst other things, play a huge factor in why, as to why we ignore or excuse red flags when we know doggone well you need to let that go.
You gotta let that go. I hear you. Men are, do you agree with this? Men are hunter gatherers. I've always believed it, but I don't know. I'm open to any other um interpretation, I guess.
I,
Um
I do.
when it comes to women pursuing men. Like why is that a good or bad decision for women to take the lead on, pursuing a relationship, getting in his DMs? Is that a good thing?
I, you know, I, I can only speak for me. I just, I don't, I always tell people I'm not old school, but I know men. I know for a fact men are hunters. I don't have to, when men are wired that way, why are we pursuing anything? We don't have to pursue anything. I think we can show interest. I think it's my job as a lady to show interest or to let you know that I am interested, but I'm not hunting or pursuing. I wasn't built for that. I'll respond accordingly, but I would, first and foremost, it would have to be a man pursuing me. I just don't believe in doing. I don't need. That's foreign to me to do it the other way around. Well, I've never really had to, and it's not to say because I think I'm so cute or I'm so attractive. I've just never had to do that. Men have always shown up pursuing me, and I just always assumed that's what they were supposed to do. So I don't. I don't recommend it because I don't think we have to. When a man is attracted to you, when a man wants you and he wants it to be known, he'll make it known. Now, maybe every so, I don't know. I really don't even really flirt. I don't even jump into a man's DM
At all.
at all. I mean, unless it's business, it's just rare for me to do that. But this is a different time. And so women like are on the hunt and I can't get with it. I'm not knocking anybody who does it. I ain't doing it.
I'm with you. And I'm a different generation than you are, and I'm old
Yeah.
fashioned. And
Yeah.
I believe wholeheartedly that
Mhm.
when a man wants your attention, he will do
He's gonna get your
whatever.
attention.
Yeah, he'll
Listen,
do whatever.
he will.
I,
I've had men cash at me to get my attention. I was like, now I didn't deserve, but I didn't do nothing. But I'm being serious. They have gotten my attention. Now, I wasn't always attracted to them, but I promise you, when a man wants your attention, he will get it. And I know it firsthand to be true. So I just couldn't imagine doing things any other way. Like you said, you're from a different generation, but I still came up during the time in which dating was dating. And I mean, it's different now, but men are hunters by nature. We don't have to pursue anything. Not not a lady.
so, what role does confidence play in all of that? And that could be, because I've seen some women who was not textbook pretty, but had all kinds of confidence, and it made me want to say, does she even know that she's not pretty? And I decided pretty was different. Pretty is, but when you confident, you pretty.
Well, I mean, well, I think confidence plays a huge role, but sometimes desperation can lead you to do desperate things. And one would think one is confident. No, she's desperate.
Okay.
So I think this is just me
Mm-hmm.
on the outside looking in. Sometimes, depending upon what someone wants, will determine their approach. I don't want anything that bad.
Okay.
So I'm not sliding in your DM. I'll respond if you slide in mine. I just don't want anything that bad. And it's not that I don't see attractive men, but I just I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that when a man wants you, he'll make it be known if he wants it to be known. So I don't think sometimes confidence can be false. It can appear to be confidence because I do know that desperate people do desperate things. So we have to make sure it is what it really is. What is it really? And I just don't, and I know that I'm confident, but I don't, and not that I can't slide into someone's DM, but again, I just don't want them that bad to approach a man.
Right.
Again, that's, I don't know. That's just me. Yeah. Again, this is a different time. It's a different time.
It's a different time. But I still think, yeah, some of those same values still work today.
Absolutely.
Just like they did years ago.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I've heard even men, there's some things, even though you cannot be a traditionalist, and some men still like, let me at least approach you. Let me ask you. So I think in the age of social media, it just makes people more accessible and it's more inviting, I guess. And you can do that with social media. I'm not, but you can.
Got you.
Yeah.
So you're having a gathering this weekend. In fact, I have got a ticket because I just love to hang out with women. I think it's a great thing for us to empower each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know, are you still taking tickets for your gathering or is it too late now?
I'm not. I mean, a few people have, text me like, can you add one more? And I have. But I really can't be doing that, not in large numbers. But I am doing an empowerment brunch, and the theme is Redefined. And let me say why, because the title is running across the screen. Chanelle Laurice is Redefined. Redefine means to define again or define differently. And like you said at the beginning of our conversation, I chose to rewrite the narrative. I chose to define differently a lot of things that I have experienced, and I want to inspire women to do the same. So we are going to come together on Saturday here in Grand Rapids for an empowerment brunch, to have conversations, to talk about things that matter. I like to talk about things that matter, things that provoke change from the inside out. It's fine to get all dressed up and dolled up, I believe. And showing up, I wear makeup, I wear weaves. I mean, not today because I wanted to show up authentic, but I believe in getting all dialed up. I also believe that in order to become the best version of ourselves, there are some conversations that we need to have, and we need to have those conversations in a safe place. And so I wanted to create a space for women to gather, eat, take pictures, have fun, win some prizes, and have some thought-provoking conversations that will lead to true change from the inside out.
And that's exactly why I'm showing up.
Yes, I'm glad.
I need that. I need to, have conversations with other women. I want some other opinions.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I do PassionSpeak, is because I need other opinions, because I don't know it all. In fact, I know very little.
Yeah.
So I want to, I want to know what other people think. And if it's your passion, that means you have watched it, you have experienced it, and you are educated in it. Street education sometimes, but you educated in it. That means you've seen some things that I may not have seen.
That's right.
And I want to talk about it. So
that's good.
So I won't keep us any longer. I know you busy trying to get your event ready for the weekend. But so we'll wrap up. Is there any parting thoughts you'd like to leave us with?
I just want to encourage all of the viewers that life is what it is, and not all the time do we have a picture perfect life, and we don't have to pretend to have a picture perfect life. It is important that we accept all of who we are, that we accept every detail of our story so that we can show up being the best version of ourselves, and that we stop allowing people to make us feel ashamed of what we've experienced, of what we've encountered, where we've gotten it wrong. No one can ever do that to me again. Like, I own it, I accept it, I acknowledge it, and I am better because of it. Carter, please, honey. My grandson. I'm so sorry, you guys.
That's your
But I'm better-
grandson?
that's my grandson, Carter, honey. Shh. But I'm better because of it. So I just want to remind some, or maybe just inform those who may not have known, like you can be all of who you are, accept all of who you are, and do something with it. I have chosen to do something with all of the details of my life. And I'm thankful that many women are benefiting from it in ways that I wouldn't have imagined.
Thank you. And
Absolutely.
on her exit, Penny drops in and says, great conversation. She watches us often. Thank
Awesome.
you, Penny. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. I'm looking forward to Saturday, and thank you
Yes,
for
I
your
am
conversation
too.
here. And,
Thank
this
you.
is a conversation that can go on for hours and hours and hours because I never get tired of talking about relationships ever.
Yeah, yeah.
But I really
Receive it.
appreciate you, and
Mhm.
we got to go and get those books in Amazon. I think one is even over 12 years old that you wrote it.
Yeah, it's crazy how much time has passed. Yeah, my first one was She's Not Like Me. And then I wrote Promiscuous Girl, The Heart That Longs to Be Loved. And then the third one was Simply Becoming. So that one dealt with who I became as a result of divorce. The other two had a lot to do with my journey early on, the pregnancies and not knowing who I was, because when a woman isn't aware of who she is, or when if she doesn't understand her purpose or there's no awareness, she shows up differently in her relationships. I show up differently now in my relationships because I am aware of who I am. And me being aware holds those who I am in relationship with accountable for how they show up. So I'm not accepting just no any old thing because I am aware of who I am, and just any old thing won't do. Not like it used to.
Not like it used to.
Not like it used
Hey, you can't put new wine in old vessels, right?
to. No, you cannot. You cannot. Thank
You
God you
cannot.
can't.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate your
Thank
time. I
you.
appreciate you speaking with us. Until next time, this has been Passion Speak.
Take care, everyone.
All right.